watching. Well, we're going to be talking about Moon Knight episode 4 and a little bit of episode 3 because I didn't watch it last week. I didn't watch it for last week's show, but I watched it since then. So I do have some commentary on it. But remember, like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel because it makes me feel oh so good. Moon Knight episode 4, Blinded. Your thoughts?
It was pretty good. I liked it. I had some judgment on it beforehand because I knew about the twist, but I thought it was done decently. But this is the thing about the show. It's like there's some good stuff, but then you're like, I don't know. Like they should have saved it for another season or done something else. I'm very conflicted with the show, so
Yeah. So I saw episode 3. There was, like you said, there was some good things, and there was some things that like just didn't make any sense. Um,
yeah.
you know what? I don't exist in the MCU, right? I don't exist in a world of superheroes. But if I did, and I was a henchman, right, and I took a spear and I fucking stabbed a dude with it right through the fucking body, and he was still walking, I would get the fuck out of there at that point. If I saw
I
Blinded
know, right?
stab some dude with a spear, right, like Blinded like stabs a dude in the chest with a spear, I'd be like, fuck this. You don't pay me enough for this. I ain't getting killed. But in the MCU, everyone just like, fuck it, we could take him. This guy's like struggling off bullets. This fucking got spears hanging out of him. And they're like, I'm a normal dude. I think I have a chance. Like, fuck that. Makes no
Yeah, I
sense.
know. They need to either wrap up the fight scene quicker because it's like it was lingering and it's like I feel like he wouldn't be that affected by those spears anyway, right? So I don't know. This show's again like his powers are very confusing in the show because it's like this is why I say they should have just done it like tell us the origin story in the MCU so then we can have some idea of okay, like this is what he could do and then get into all of this other stuff, right? But instead they're telling the story like not backwards, but like just like skipping around, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Then when he threw the whatever you want to call it, the little fucking half moon, the crescent moon at the guy, I
Hmm.
am convinced the guy is still alive. The guy is an important enough character in the comics that if you didn't see his body, I'm gonna go with the old adage: if you don't see a body, person's not dead. You heard the little, the little noise of the crescent moon going in him. You didn't see where it landed. You didn't hear him like fall off a horse or anything. And then it just comes right back to Moon Knight, and you know he's never seen again. This
They
guy's
would have
never
to recast though, because that actor just passed away.
right. But
So
what I'm saying, I think the intention originally was that he was going to come back, and
yeah,
then the actor passed away. Many Music's right. If you see a body, he still might not be dead.
yeah, that's movie rule number one. So
Uh, then in episode 4, spoiler alert, a little twist at the end, uh, where they're kind of like in his mind, it's a mental hospital. There's both of them there.
yeah, that's probably going to be in all of his mind as well. Like it's probably just going to be a fake out.
Yeah. Well, I think what they're going to do, because there was a small hint that there's a third personality that we haven't been
Yeah,
formally
Jake
introduced.
Locklear.
Yeah. So I think they're going to realize, wait a minute, if we're both here in our head, then what's our body doing, right? Because at that point, he ain't got.
Mm, that's an interesting take. Yeah, I could see that happening. That probably makes some sense.
Because in the Incredible Hulk comic, to go to reference the comics, but in the comic, they had built within Bruce Banner's mind a like wall that the Hulk couldn't get out of.
Hmm.
They trapped him in there, and that was very reminiscent when they show him going through the mental hospital that there's like a sarcophagus with the one personality was like stuck in there. But then I can't, the episode ended with the hippopotamus lady showing up. That was kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, like that was just supposed to be a what the fuck moment. Like just throw a wrench in there. Like I don't know this part of the show, right? That's from the Jeff Lemire comic, right? And that comic starts with him in the asylum, right? And so he's like going back and forth between his past with his dad, and then Stephen Grant is this movie producer, and then he's like in the movie as Moon Knight fighting off these like werewolves on the moon. So it's all this like trippy stuff happening. And so like in the show there was a lot of reference to that comic, right? Like the cops in the I think the second episode, they were the I guess the nurses of the asylum or whatever. And that was
Yeah.
exactly like in the comics, right? Because they were actually the Undertaker, right? And they were trying to actually hunt down Mark, but they were pretending to be nurses, right? So I thought that was, typical Marvel. They like to take from the comics and blend it in with something new. So
Yeah, it was pretty good, but there was another thing that I didn't like when they spoiler again. If you haven't seen it, we're going to spoil all kind of shit. But when they
yeah.
trap No Shoe into the little statue, right?
Hmm. In
And I
episode
think
three.
yeah, it was episode 3. But then like I think it was Horus's avatar or whatever is like, hey, fucking Haro, dude that's not the avatar of nobody, the dude that we said, hey, uh, we put you on trial and then we let you free. Hey, do you want to say some words to No Shoe now that we've trapped him? I don't know why they brought him back in there.
Yeah, that was I was complaining about that whole like the Council of Gods because it reminded me of Mass Effect, and it was just like really stupid. Like, how are these like gods who are supposed to be all seeing not realize that Arthur is like a liar? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I just hate that it seems like a trope, right? Where it's like, oh, all these people who are in like high powers, right? They don't know what's going on. Only the protagonist knows. And it's just so annoying because it's like they either should be smarter or they should know better. And it's like, so that was annoying.
And it's not just that. Like once again, they're all knowing gods, and then Arthur Harrow goes up to the statue and basically reveals his plan. Like he does the
Yeah.
typical villain monologue. Ha ha ha! You forged me into a weapon that's going to release Amet onto the world. And I'm like, none of the guys are listening. Like you guys don't hear this. He's in the temple revealing his master plan, and none of yous are fucking around. Like none of you.
Yeah. It's funny too, seeing because Ethan Hawke is actually in the Northman, and his performance in Moon Knight compared to the Northman is so cartoonish. Like it's not Ethan Hawke, honestly. Like I feel like he's just got a paycheck for this and was like, well, I guess I'm a hypocrite now because I was shitting all over Marvel, so I can't really complain anymore. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Then when they did the whole when they first brought Harrow into the tomb, I thought they were going to do the typical, oh, you thought the council was fair, but they were actually working with the bad guy all along. So I did like they didn't
Yes.
go there, but they did kind of make it like at the very least like there was a little fake out with it. Then he cockblocks himself. He's like, hey, by the way, Mark Spector did kill your dad, but he was protecting you. So don't make out with Stephen Grant. Wait till Mark takes back over,
Mm.
which was stupid. I think that whole um, eventually they're going to have to reveal that her dad was evil or her dad was not, the good person that she thought he was.
I feel like if they do that, that would be typical MCU bullshit. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Because it's like
how else are they going to explain why Mark Spector was okay killing those people?
because Mark Spector's a bad person. That's it's as simple as that. He's not like supposed to be Captain America. He's not like this morally righteous person. He's very shady. So I feel like if the MCU or in the show at least they try to be like, it was actually because the dad was bad. It would just be like such a cop out. It's like, oh yeah, you have to make the hero good, right? So it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, they might maybe maybe it'll be revealed that Haro actually hired the mercenaries. There's got to be some like out for him. Like maybe they lied to Mark Spector. They told him that they were fucking evil archaeologists, but they really weren't. I think that there's got
Yeah.
to be some sort of small amount of out for him to be like, yeah, I killed your dad, but you can't
Well,
hate
I
me.
don't think it's. I mean, I don't think. Okay, it's either he's bad or it's going to be what is in the comics, right? Like Bushman is the one that killed all of them, right? Because that's what happens. So, and he was working with Bushman in the beginning until he turned on him. So it could be that. We'll have to see. I don't know if Bushman is going to like show up at the ending of the show because he's like an important villain to Moon Knight. And honestly, I think they would have to change him up dramatically because he just feels kind of out of date. Like I feel like people are going to say, this is not PC," or something like that. So
Uh, who knows? But it's not great. Like I watch it
yeah,
and I'm like, okay, it's a thing that happened for 30 minutes. I'm not like all excited for the next episode, but I'm not like all upset about it either. It's just like, it's a thing that I did for 30 minutes or so.
yeah. Like I feel like it's not bad, but it like yeah, like I was saying before, it's so all over the place, right? And I can understand if that's the intention, but it's not well written enough to say, oh, it's confusing on purpose, right? It just feels like as time goes on, they were like, oh, we should throw this in and add that and let's go in this direction. It just doesn't feel coherent. You know what I mean? So that's my issue with the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think this show would have probably benefited from releasing all the episodes at once or like
Yeah,
three of them at a time or something like that. This one after another. It seems like it's dragging out. Like in order to
way
get
too
the
long.
full, like 35-minute episode, 40-minute episodes, they're like, we gotta pad it a little in the ends and add a little fucking padding in the middle. Whereas if it was like
Yeah,
one complete thing, they could have just did it, you know, slim and trim, nice and succinct. Which is weird that I complain about a show rambling on or being padded when that's all we do here. So I can pad everything. So a little bit of hypocrite, a little hypocritical, but yeah, that's
but
my.
isn't it? It's still kind of crazy though that the show was only 6 episodes and it just feels like it's going on. You know what I mean? Like 6 episodes is not a lot.
Yeah, 6 episodes. We're 4 episodes in, and I feel like we're just starting now to really like. Okay, we've got all backstory. We're ready to actually start the proper story, and it's going to end in 2 episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the same way I felt with Hawkeye. They had all this shit, and I was like, "There's no way you could wrap it all up in the last episode," but they sort of did. So
I mean, now that I look back, Hawkeye was kind of generic.
it was. I still like it. Haley Steinfeld. It's a pretty good actress. Not
I
bad.
only really care about the Kingpin. That was really it.
I like Hawkeye. I've always liked Hawkeye as a character. He's the everyman. He was supposed to be like your stand-in, the normal dude amongst all these superheroes with superpowers. He's just got a fucking bow and arrow. He's fucking saving the day alongside the Hulk and Thor and Giant Man and shit. But
Mm.
I think that's all we got for Moon Knight. Any final thoughts?
Not really. I'm interested to see what happens next, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see if they spin it or if they mention Bast. Those are the two things I'm looking forward to. How they spin the fact that no one else has been paying attention to all this wacky gods shit going on, and if they mention Bast, who is the Black Panther deity. So we'll see how it goes.
Mm.